welcome you all my dear students in this educational program conducted by Joint School Family Rupandehi, and we are in the 11th day. Okay my dear students, and in the previous class we learned about the concept of federalism, or a federal system of government. We also learned about the concept of a unitary system. Okay my dear students, in the previous class we learned federalism is the system of having dual government. State government level in every states and central government at the center. Okay, and in this system, the administrative activities, or the administrative bodies are classified into three levels. Okay my dear students, central government or federal government at the center, and state level government or provincial level government in every provinces. Just the case of Nepal, we have 7 provinces, so we have state level government or provincial level of government in every provinces, in every province. Okay my dear students, again we also have another administrative unit, that is local administrative unit. We have what is metropolitan municipality, we have sub-metropolitan municipalities, we have municipalities, and we also have what is rural municipalities. So in every local bodies there is what you call the local government. Okay, again in every state there is a state level government. Again at the center, we have what is a federal government, or we can say what is the central government. Okay my dear students, these things we learned in the previous class. Okay my dear students, and today we are going to learn about the power sharing. Power sharing between the state government and the central government. Okay my dear students, according to our present constitution, according to our present constitution of Nepal 2072, this constitution has clearly mentioned or divide the power or authority between the central government and the state government. Okay, yes or no? And here we are going to learn about the power or activities, or functions performed by the central government and the state government. Okay my dear student, first let's see the activities or functions performed by the central government. You see first point, look here, the central government has to perform the function of what is border security and foreign policy. This central government protect or maintain border security. I got you. And it also maintain or promote foreign policy. It maintain a diplomatic relationship with the foreign countries. It sign treaties, it makes different agreements. It sign different treaties or agreement. And maintain diplomatic relationship, good relationship with the foreign countries of the world. Okay, and it also protect the border area, boundary of the country. Boundary of the country. Okay my dear students, again the next point, it is for formulation and implementation of economic policy. Economic policy is to be performed, yes, is to be conducted by the central government. Yes, the economic policy of the country, economic planning, yes, to manage the economic financial resources for the country, for the development activity of the country, yes, is to be functioned, yes, is to be conducted by the central government. Yes, it also maintain the national security. Yes, yes, it protect the country. Yes, it maintain peace and security in the country. Yes, it also worked in the management of army. The national army are kept, are used according to the decision of the central government. Okay, my dear students, again, another function it has to do, it is construction of national level project, big project. Okay, just for example, big hydropower project, yes, big development project, yes, like national highway, yes, national airport, international airport, yes, these are the big projects of the country. Yes or no? And such projects, yes, are to be conducted by the central government. Okay, my dear students, again, it also give some direction. Yes, it also gives some instruction, or give or it supervise, yes, the activities of the local government. Yes, okay, my dear students, again, next, the state government also has some work to do. Yes, some functions. Okay, and here the functions, okay, are the power of the state government. Yes, are mentioned here. Yes, I have written here. Yes, first point, look here, formulate state laws and regulations. Yes, every state, yes, has its own legislative assembly. Yes, it has its own executive body. Yes, in every state, yes, there is a governor. Yes, there is a chief minister and other ministers. Okay, it has its own executive body. Yes, it has its own legislative body. Okay, and this legislative body formulate the law for rules and regulation for its own province. Okay, my dear student, it also regulate, it also implement, yes, the rules and regulations for the province, for its province. Okay, my dear students, again, we have another function, that is formulation of what is development project policy. Yes, and this state level government has its functions. Yes, that is a formulation of development policy. It conducts various kinds of development activities within the state, within the province. For example, road construction, small hydropower project construction, bridge, yes, bridge construction, yes, school, hospital construction. Yes, these are the functions or development activities that every province has to be carried out, yes, for its development. Okay, my dear students, again, it also has its function, yes, that is strengthening internal security. It maintain law and order, security, yes, peace and security within the state, within the province. Okay, my dear students, again, it also has another function, that is preserving art, language and culture. Yes, every province, yes, has its function. That is, every province has power or authority, yes, for the preservation of art. Yes, for the preservation of culture, yes, and language. Okay, my dear students, next, it also has functions, okay, has authority, yes, to run the internal administration of the state, internal administration of the province. Okay, these are the functions, okay, of state government and the state government and the central government. Okay, my dear students, again we also going to learn, yes, about the merits and demerits, or we can say what is advantages and disadvantages of federalism in Nepal. Okay, my dear student, first I have written here some points, 6 points from merits and 6 points from demerits. Okay, let us learn about it. Okay, look here. First point, optimum use of means and resources. Yes, and this federalism, yes, can easily use, or there can be optimum utilization of means and resources in the country. The means and resources of the country can be utilized very smoothly, very effectively, yes, in this system. Okay, my dear students, and again there can be a wide public participation in government activities. Yes, just I told you, yes, every state has its own government. Yes, again there is also another government at the local level. So in this government, yes, people can very actively involve in this political mechanism. Okay, and along with this, people can directly involve in the government activities, or we can say in every mechanism of the government. Okay, so in this way we can say that there can have wide public participation in this federal system of government. Okay, my dear students, next we can also solve if any conflict arise. Okay, if any problem arise in the state or in the locality, in our province, okay, then we ourselves, we can solve these problems, this conflict through our local government, or we can say through our provincial level of government. That means we can solve the conflict or problems, yes, that arise in our community, in our society, yes, or we can say in our province very easily, and we can solve them or solve it at the local level very easily. Okay, my dear students, yes, again there is also, yes, a big chance, okay, big chance for the preservation of local art. Yes, local art, local culture, local heritages, yes, can be preserved here very effectively. We know Nepal is a multiracial country, multicultural country. We are very rich in heritages. Yes, so because of this federal system, yes, it has become very easier, yes, for the preservation, for the promotion of our local art. Yes, it has become very easier for the promotion, for the preservation of culture and heritages. Okay, my dear students, again we can also make a quick development. Yes, we can speed up the level of development. Yes, there can be the acceleration of development work. Means development activities or development work can be very fast. Yes, because there is a wide public participation in this federal system. So because of people's participation, yeah, development is also very quick here, very fast here, and very reliable here, very durable here. Okay, my dear student, again next point is maintain balanced population distribution. In this system, yes, development may reach in every nook and corner of the state, every part of the state. So, if there is development in every part of the country, then there can be no migration, or there can be very less migration. So, because of these, the population distribution can be balanced. I mean, we can maintain balanced population distribution here. Okay, my dear students, yes or no? Have you got here? Have you understood what I'm saying? I hope you have understood what I have told you just now. Okay, my dear student. Again, let's come to the demerits. Okay, demerits of the federal system of government. Okay, first point, expensive form of government. Yes, in this federal system, yes, there is state level government, local level of government, and central government. Yes, in every state there is chief minister, ministers. Yes, and other member of legislative assembly. Yes, member of parliament. Yes or no? Governor, president. Yes. So for this big amount, the state has to spend for their salary, for the allowances. Okay, and because of this, yes, big number of representatives. Okay, member of parliament, member of legislative assembly, federal council of minister, what is provincial executive body. Yes, because of this, yes, the country, the state has to invest a big amount of money, yes, for this administrative running, for the running of the administration. Okay, so because of this, it can be very expensive for the poor country like Nepal. Okay, in other way we can say there can be economic burden for the country like Nepal. Okay, Arthik Bahar we say in Nepali. Okay, yes. Next, the conflict between the states in regards of using natural resources may arise. Conflict may arise. Yes, while using these natural resources like river, forest, okay, or different mineral resources. While using these things, yes, the conflict may arise. Okay, yes or no? So again, danger of division or disintegration. Yes, sometime, yes, some province, the people of province, or some people, yes, they may want the province in the name of racial identity. Yes, and because of this, if there is conflict among different races, yes, if there is conflict among different communal groups, yes, in that situation, yes, there is a very danger of division. Yes, some state they may want separate state. Okay, some state may be away from the state. Okay, my dear student. Again, next, challenge to maintain equal recognition to all cultural groups. Yes, every cultural groups, yes, they may not get equal benefits sometime. Okay, because Nepal is a multilingual country, multiracial country, multi-religious country. Yes, some races, some group of people, yes, may deprive of their rights. Some races may not get proper rights. In that situation, another conflict may arise there. Okay, so there is a big challenge to maintain equal recognition, to give equal identity, equal rights to all the races people like Nepal, because we have here more than 125 races of people are living here. Yes, so in this context, yes, it may be very difficult to provide equal identity to all the races of people. Okay, my dear students. Again, another point, that is misunderstanding may arise between state and central. Yes, sometime there may arise a misunderstanding between the central government and the state government. Just recently we have seen there was a conflict between central government, federal government, and province number 2. Yes, and many times, yes, there was a conflict. Yes, in this situation, yes, this is what you can, just I give you the example. Yes, there may arise misunderstanding. Yes, between the state and central. Just the case of province number 2 and central government, that there was a conflict between these two, what is province number 2 and central government. Okay, recently the crisis were seen some month ago. Okay, my dear student, again unequal distribution of wealth while dividing a province, while dividing the state. Yes, some state may have sufficient natural resources, some may not have. Okay, in this way, in this situation, yes, we can say what is some state may have what is sufficient natural resources, yes, and some may not have such sufficient resources. Okay, so this is what we call unequal distribution of wealth. Okay, my dear students, and along with this, I am going to conclude my class here. And before concluding my class, I am going to give you some activities, some questions. Okay, so I suggest my dear students to do these questions at home. Okay, my dear student, let me write the question here. Let me write the question here. Okay, first let me write a very short questions. Okay, what do you mean by? What do you mean by federalism? Okay, my dear student. Next question, what is? What do you mean by unitary system of government? Okay, my dear student. Next question, what is? How long has Nepal practiced unitary system of government? Okay, my dear student. Next, number 4, what is? What are the levels of administrative units according to the federal system of government. Okay, my dear student, these are the very short answer questions. Okay, 1 marks questions. Okay, now again I am going to give you a short answer question. Okay, is each question carry 6 marks. Okay, in your basic level examination. Okay, or in your different examination. Okay, my dear students, let me write here. Make a list. Make a list of the importance of federalism in the context of Nepal. Okay, and the next question, why did unitary system fail in Nepal? Write any 6 region. Write any 6 regions. Okay, my dear student. And the next, write any 3 advantages and advantages of federalism. Okay, my dear student. And the next one is one more very short question. It is, when was Nepal? When was Nepal declared a federal republican state? Okay, I've got here, let me repeat the question once again. These are very short answer questions. Okay, what do you mean by federalism? Okay, next question, what do you mean by a unitary system of government? Yes, and the next question, how long has Nepal practiced unitary system of government? Yes, and the next, what are the levels of administrative unit according to the federal system of government? Okay, my dear students. And next question, when was Nepal declared a federal republican state? These are one marks question. Okay, my dear student, very short answer question. And next, I am going to give you a short answer question. That means 6 marks questions. Okay, this question carries 6 marks. Okay, first question, what is, make a list of the importance of federalism in the context of Nepal. Yes, and the next question, why did a unitary system fail in Nepal? Write any 6 regions. Okay, my dear students. Again, the next question is, write any 3 advantages and 3 disadvantages of federalism in Nepal. Okay, my dear student. Along with this, I also suggest my dear student to solve to do the remaining questions, yes, which are given at the back side of your at the back of this lesson 1.3. Okay, with this I would like to conclude my lesson here, and thank you and namaste.